They say that the greatest dharma a man can do in times of immense deceit is to speak the truth, loud and clear. In that case, hear me well. Reincarnation is a side effect of life addiction. I've written a great many articles on this topic as it really is the main thing as far as I'm considering. If you're wondering what my credentials are to be able to speak on this, then consider that I died and came back again. Plus, I can recollect my past, future, and simultaneous spins. Now, I'm not saying that you should believe a thing that I'm saying. However, you should aim to prove me incorrect, and that means that whatever remains must be authentic, yes? Getting back on track. Do you have any idea of how many times you've lived, died, and came back again? How could you tell? Let's pretend there was no mind wipe. Better yet, imagine that you, right now, comprehend that you are not the voice in your head with its incessant talking, but that which actually listens. What do you think would shift, my friend? Could you get as angry as you once did when it said certain things once this gnosis had slipped into your awareness, or would things never be the same again? How about this? Imagine you went to bed and each night your dream was a continuance, so eventually you'd be living two separate existences. One was in the privacy of your own head, and the other that was publicly shared. Which one is really real in the end? And once again, how could you tell? Life and death are just like this, because in all of these examples, there is one constant that never shifts, never changes, doesn't care about your ethics, race, skin, riches, or anything else you can mention. It's completely constant from one life to the next, whether you're awake or dreaming in bed. I call this state the witness. Would you like to meet it? Take a second. Sit still. Close your eyes and breathe for a bit. Just relax into the darkness. And for a moment, can you imagine not existing? What happened? What was seen, felt, impressed upon your awareness? Did you notice how subtle this is? That is the witness, my friend. Now you have felt its presence within, tell me, how can you ever truly believe that you are John of House Smith, or whatever BS is inside your head, ever again? It's quite impossible, yes? Let's pretend you're a tree, or better yet, an eternal forest. Yes, so someone slices down a branch, mashes it, and pulps it up, and then processes a canvas out of it that is stretched really thin. Onto this he slings inks and creates an image. Tell me, would the painting be fully invested in the scene another presented, or would it intuit correctly that what it is cannot be seen currently, as it's stretched over a square with layers and layers of sediment, and, worst of all, it bases its own opinion and concepts of self on what others have to say about it? Now, if we were to strip it to the canvas, it would yell and protect its investment in ignorance, yes? That, my friend, is exactly why reincarnation is a side effect of life addiction. Just ponder for a moment and truly feel what I've said. Are you beginning to see the bigger pic and what it actually takes to transcend this grift? Ancient cultures were builders of massive monuments, and they posited that upon death, one's heart is placed upon a scale with a feather on the other end, and should there be whims or wishes within the wish to have another spin, then you'll get this. What happens next? Mind wipe, bish. Then another 9 months developing fresh skin as the canvas of their consciousness is scraped back to bare metal, then stretched again before having another set of parents, society, and media sling ink at it whilst instructing it what and not how to think. Like I said, how many times do you think this has happened? Let's break it down a bit with some divine mathematics. You are 100% for certain here and now, yes? Let's split that next bit to 50-50 then. Either nothing happens or something happens. Let's take that and split it again. So half of the bet comes back that you wear skin again, and the other states that you get a concept like heaven or whatever you wish. You may note that neither of these are actually emancipation in the end. Like I said, reincarnation is a side effect of life addiction, and the only thing that can leave this realm is what stepped in, and that's an aspect of the prime who pre-exists, i.e., your pure consciousness. I mean, why don't you consider the concept of the afterlife? It's all based on earthbound links and pleasures of the flesh, yes? They didn't exist in the forest, my friend. These are things from the lands of canvas and inks. Can you see how elegant this trick is? Don't feel bad, though. Just think of all the billions that have lived and died without ever stopping to comprehend they cannot be the voice in their head when they're obviously that which is listening. It is constant, never changing. Its presence makes all the rest of this possible because, in the end, it projects this entire realm and dimension as well, myself included. I know, it's mind-blowing, isn't it? It's not what they teach you in school, but that's a whole square watermelon thing, because they like to keep you ignorant of gnosis, as this keeps you coming back again and again and again to live a script with another writ, which often doesn't align with your own intent and true soul purpose. In the article, I compared this life to an amusement park with lots of rides and things. If this spoken bit has made something you felt long dimmed glimmer within, I suggest you give that piece a spin and see what you think, because I've penned over 700 such articles so far based on my introspective observation, and as always, they're merely strong opinions loosely held, so do not follow me, like, comment, or subscribe. I'd prefer that you use that energy instead to think. Create a new narrative, a paradigm that comes from within. I mean, did you ever stop to think that if what I've said is correct, then that means that the game is rigged? So when people think of a pair of dice for that lucky gamble, then you have to wonder, because they're thinking about two cubes and living in bliss where they pay no bills and life, when real life for most people is actually just like 2 steps from hell. But they'll never admit it. They'll never admit it, especially if they've got loads of distractions designed to prevent this realization and keep them hopeful that something's always going to change or somebody will come and save them. Don't you think that's a bit odd, considering that you're the one that's manifesting this entire realm and all dwells within your consciousness? The system is designed in such a way to be so slick when ensuring that you never have a moment to even think like this. I mean, if I'm lying, then exactly how do 1% control all the wealth in this realm from one generation to the next? What are they privy to that the rest do not comprehend? Why are doctors the third leading cause of death? And who exactly murders the prophets, then makes profits from twisting what they said? Because you'll never find a religion without a plate for the offering, yes? What exactly is this dude that rolls around in a bulletproof Pope-mobile promising, and why isn't he the first one that wants to go there? You can apply this to any religious script that you wish, do you know what I mean? Like I said in another article, that Neo from the Matrix is a very thinly retold story of Jesus. But if Christ consciousness is who we are wearing flesh, then every day we're being crucified in ignorance. So doesn't it make you think about choosing the battle? Because the only true opponent is the one within, and that's the voice in your head that's convinced you that you're only human. You know, I don't know. I think about these things. Maybe you do as well. That's why I'm sharing this with the yous on Tube. But we'll keep them conversational in other videos. You know what I mean? Because that's all this is really. It's just two old friends that have only just met in this spin, but know each other really, really well. Actually, that gives me an idea for the next vid, which I'm going to entitle, You Have Never Met a Stranger. Till we meet again.